Dinosaurs, a little golden book. Dinosaurs by Jane Werner Watson. Pictures by William D. J. Rutherford. Few things are more fascinating to a child than the story of the giant creatures that once lived on our Earth. Jane Werner Watson's clear, simple text and William D. J. Rutherford's imaginative illustrations bring to young children a vivid picture of how the world might have been in the long ago days of the dinosaurs. The next voice you hear will be from a young child reading the book in the 70s. Please enjoy.
So before the days of man, huge creatures called dinosaurs ruled the earth. We can study their bones today. Where did they come from? Where did they go? That is a story we wish to know. In those long ago days on Earth, the land was sunny and warm and green. The oceans were full of shelled creatures and fish. Along the shores in fresh water, amphibians lived. Young ones in the water, grown-ups on land. As amphibians today are the only creatures that lived on land in those days were reptiles. Some of these reptiles ate fish. Some ate eggs. Some ate plants. Some ate meat. There were plenty to eat in those days, so reptiles grew and grew and grew. Some of them walked on their hind feet. They grew long, strong hind legs, and in the front they had short, graspy claws. They shook the earth like thunder when they moved. They were the dinosaurs. The family name is Saurus, meaning lizard. They are something like our lizards today. Dino means terrible, and some were terrible indeed. There was Plateosaurus, first of the giants. He was huge, but not terrible. He ate green-growing plants. There was 30-foot Allosaurus. He ate other dinosaurs. The Stegosaurus, who had heavy spiny plates. They must have been a burden to him. There was Brontosaurus, who was 70 feet long, from the tip of his nose to the tip of his tail. His tail was so far from his tiny brain that he had a separated short of brain on the back there to tell his hind legs what to do. Slow-moving Diplodocus was something larger still. They both weighed so much they liked to stand in swamps, and water helped hold up their way. They were so big that they got so hungry that they had to munch on green plants all day long. There was Brachiosaurus, biggest of all. He weighed as much as 50 tons, but he couldn't run. He couldn't fight. When he was frightened, he just hid his head underwater. The king of giants was Tyrannosaurus Rex, the bloodthirsty monster. He was 50 feet long, and his 6 inches were sharp as sabers. He could eat a huge meal. Other creatures needed protection to be safe from Tyrannosaurus Rex and his like. Some had coats of armor covered with spikes and stood. Ankylosaurus was one of these. Some wore bony helmets with sharp horns. Triceratops were one of those. Some had tails like clubs of bone, some and had mouths like duckbills, full of the thousands of teeth. Some grew long legs. They learned to run fast. Ostrich like Struthonimus was one of some like Pteranodon learned to fly. And other like Plesiosaur and Mosasaurus is and Ichthyosaurus took the sea and swam. Some learned to run, some learned to fly, but not one was intelligent. Their brain was very, very small. Maybe that was the reason for what happened. What happened was this: as the years went by, all those creatures disappeared. Giant brontosaurus, thunder lizard, tardigrades, and many trees. 50-foot-long Tyrannosaurus rex, bigger than many houses, and all the rest vanished away. Today, only the reptiles that remain are turtles and their through bony shells. Small scaly lizards that live on land look like toy dinosaurs. Big-jawed lizards like crocodile and alligators in swamps, and legless snakes that slither about. What became of the dinosaurs? Were the winters too cold or the summers too hot? Was there not enough food for them? No one knows for sure why the giant reptiles disappeared. Only their bones and their tracks in the rocks tell us where they lived long, long ago in the days of the dinosaurs.